Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. As we know, the budget has been presented by Pakistan Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb on 10th of June 2025 for fiscal year 2025-2026. And there is a growing concern and speculations with respect to key highlights of this budget. So in today's video, we are going to discuss the main highlights, main features of this budget. We will also highlight some of the strengths and weaknesses of this budget, and then we will critically evaluate all these factors, and at the end of the video I would like to give some recommendations as well. So let's dive in. The Pakistan Federal Budget 25-26 with a total outlay of 17.7 trillion rupees that aims to have 4.2% of GDP while maintaining inflation at 7.9% and fiscal deficit of 3.9% aligns with the IMF guidelines while maintaining economic stability and social welfare. So let's discuss some of the strength of this budget. So this budget reduces fiscal deficit from 5.6% of previous year to 3.9% this year. So achieving 2.4% of primary surplus. It is in accordance with the IMF guidelines that will further help Pakistan to gain a bailout package, IMF bailout package of around $6 to $8 billion. So it will increase the investors' confidence in the Pakistan's economy and will also stabilize macroeconomic indicators with the debt to GDP ratio that is around 70%. Government is also taking steps to support the low earners by giving relief in the form of reduction in taxes, income taxes that sits previously at 5% to 1% that has an income of around between 600,000 to 1.2 million rupees. So this is also tax relief for social benefit. Government's social relief measures also include 10% increase in the income of public sector employees while 7.5% increase in the pensions. And it also has decreased the tax rates for construction sector as well. So this will, instantly give relief to the consumers that has been suffering from the increase in inflation, and also will promote the economic growth. The government has allocated 1 trillion rupees for public sector development program, emphasizing energy and transport. The Recodec project has an estimation of creating 42,000 jobs and earning $75 billion over the period of 37 years. So it also emphasizes the government's commitment to increase economic growth while creating the jobs for unemployed people as well. So let's discuss some of the weaknesses of this budget. The defense allocation has been increased to 20% of the GDP, that is in the form of 2.5 trillion rupees with adding 750 billions in the form of pensions amounting to 3.29 trillion rupees, that is 20% of the GDP. Keeping in mind the regional conflicts that we have recently seen in the form of Operation Sindoor and Operation Banyan al-Marsus. So it will divert funds from social sectors, and it will also limit human capital development. Another weakness of this budget is the low allocation of funds for education sector, that is only 0.8% of the GDP. That is very low as compared to the benchmarks, while UNESCO has advised to increase the education budget to 4 to 6% of the GDP. And healthcare has been also on decline, only giving 1.2% of the budget of the total GDP. So what impact it will have on the overall economic growth of the Pakistan's economy? Pakistan's literacy rate also sits at the lowest possible, that is 62%. So in order to increase the literacy rate, you need to allocate funds for education sector, and there are also gaps persisting in healthcare services as well. Another weakness of this budget is to increase the direct tax rates to 25% of the middle income group, and also increase the levy on petroleum products from 70 rupees to 100 rupees. So it is going to decrease and squeeze the disposable income of the households, and it will lead to slower consumption. The budget's contractionary approach, complying with IMF directions, is going to stifle the economic growth, and it can also give less opportunities for economic development and growth in upcoming years. Another drawback of this budget is that government has not taken any initiative to restructure the tax net, and there are no key reforms going to take place in the upcoming years. So government is unable to bring agriculture sector and retail sector into tax net, and it means you won't be able to grow your tax net while taxing the already taxable individuals. In the form of government spending in the development budget, in the development sector, government is prioritizing 30% to transport, giving 30% funds to transport sector as compared to only 4 to 5% to education sector. So this highlights the government priorities. So here are some of the key recommendations from my side. Number one is to reallocate the defense spending. Limit the defense spending to 10% of the GDP. That sits around 20% of the GDP for now. So it will give you excess funds in the form of 500 billion rupees that you will be spending on education and health. That will give them funds of 2% of GDP. So it will increase Pakistan's Human Development Index by increasing the literacy rate from 60% to 70%, and while addressing gaps in the health sector in accordance with UNESCO directions. Government also needs to broaden the tax net by taxing progressively to agriculture sector and retail sector. This will give 1 trillion rupees to Pakistan in terms of revenues over the upcoming 3 years, and it will also reduce the burden of the middle income group and also increase the tax to GDP ratio of 14%. In order to enhance the economic development, government needs to spend heavily on education and health sector. Government is allocating only 0.8% of the GDP to education sector, and government needs to double it to at least increase it to 2% of the GDP. And same is the case with health sector, which is given only 1.2% of the total GDP, and government needs to double this amount as well. So what impact it will have? It is going to develop your human index. It is also going to increase your taxation rates, and overall the economic growth will be influenced by all of these social developments. Another way to stimulate the growth is to allocate 200 billion rupees to small and medium sector enterprises, and also subsidize the export sector as well. This will increase your remittances and also result in more employment opportunities for unemployed people, boosting overall economic growth. Government also needs to consider their spending on public sector enterprises. Government needs to privatize at least 45 of public owned enterprises like PIA, and also it should consider public audits in order to increase the transparency of the privatization as well. So this will reduce the burden on government fiscal spendings, and will also improve in the overall efficiency of market economy. Pakistan's 2025-2026 budget showcased fiscal discipline and with modernization in tax collection processes. Pakistan's 2025-2026 budget showcased fiscal discipline and modernization, but is hampered by heavy defense spending, underfunded social sectors, and IMF-driven austerity. While tax reforms and projects like Recodic are promising, the lack of structural fixes and middle-class tax burden raise concerns. Implementing the above recommendations, reallocating funds, broadening taxes, and boosting social investment can enhance sustainability and equity, ensuring the budget delivers on its 4.2% economic growth promise. Thank you.